So good morning, I'm down the plot today. It's nice and sunny, but it's cold. So I think I'm going to start with doing another coat of paint on most of the shed, and then I'll go on to other projects. So I bought these to plant out at the plot so that the bees in winter, when it's mild, have some flowers, late winter, early spring. And I've already seen some bees on them, so I'll put one up by the pond and one in the flower bed by the gate. So I'm going to plant this heather called Natalie in the pond bed. I'm going to plant it in the middle, and the other heather I've got I'm going to put in the flower bed down the other end. So I'm just going to pop it into the hole, give it a little push, and then tuck the remaining soil around, and then the wood chips. And there, that, especially if I move out the way of the shading it, that will get a lot bigger. I know it's going to have to fight with that peony there, but oh well, we'll see how it goes. So I've been pruning and weeding this flower bed here, but I've also put a couple of plants in. Let me show you. So for this bed I've pruned back, there's a plant there. It gets very large if I don't hack it back each year. I've pruned that rose, and there's another rose there, and another rose there. I've pruned this a little bit, but because it's still flowering, I want to leave most of the flowers because the bees love them at this time of year. Once it's finished flowering, I will give that a good cut back. I have poured at these spikes here. This is from, there's a daisy type plant that grows. I haven't overly weeded because it's hard to get to, but there's a geranium there and a geranium there, so those will kind of bush out. You've got the globe artichoke, so that will take up a fair amount of room. There's a lupin there, that eventually will take up a lot of room. There's a holly plant here. I think there's two of them, so I might move one of them. I've got a lavender in there. That'll eventually bush out. And I decided to experiment. I know it might go awfully wrong. But down here, I opened up this wire and I tucked a pink climbing rose there. And I'm not sure what that plant is, but I have a load of it in a pot, so I just dug up a bit. So I'm hoping that the rose will just kind of climb up through this, and I can eventually, so that in the summer, because this is a winter flowering plant, there's not much colour, so I'm hoping that the rose will survive and just kind of grow up through and give some nice colour in this. I can't remember what this is. It might be some sort of winter honeysuckle, I'm not sure. I got it from the pound shop probably nearly 15 years ago. So that's my plan. And obviously I want to put some long thin tubs along there, and so I might make a hole in the bottom of the tub, put a tub here so that something can grow up this side of the arch, but we'll see if that works. So I've just popped the other heather in here in this front flower bed. I think it should be happy there, and the bees should love it. So I'm about to repot my sweet peppers. I'm gonna put them into these smaller modules, and then in a couple of weeks' time I will pop them onto bigger ones, so it's not their final size. So these were started off inside. No aubergines came up, bell peppers did. Sweet mixed romana came up. One corn de tour rosanna, and those were just the long red pointy sweet pepper from the supermarket, and tons came up. So those germinated far better than my seed packet ones. The way I'm transplanting it is I'm grabbing it by the leaf, loosening it like that, dipping a hole, putting it down in the hole, and just tucking that around. You've got to be gentle, but they come up fairly easily. But of course, with the amount of peppers I've got, I'm going to be covering them up in here, which is taking a risk because we are going to have some colder weather. So I think I'm going to have to put some glass over this and possibly have to insulate, put a bit of bubble wrap on top. So those are all the sweet romano peppers. And then there's one Cora di Toro Rosanna. I might put that into its own little separate pot. After I've done those, I have all of these to do. So yeah, lots. I got all of these to do, so lots to pot on. So this is all the peppers. Basically this whole bottom bit is filled with peppers. So I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to put this glass over here and risk that at night. I'm hoping all my peppers don't die.